Boom. All right, let's go. So, what we're talking about is how to create your offer from the failures in your past. Okay, so just to bring you up to present with myself, my name is Martha Krejci. That is how you pronounce all of those consonants and that are scrunched up together in my last name. I married into that name. The man that I married is fantastic, and that's why I was okay with taking on all those consonants. Anyway, so my name is Martha Krejci. How I've built my business, just super quick, is I built multiple income streams from home. I work about 5 to 10 hours a week. Sometimes I work a little more than that, but I don't have to. I just choose to, right? And it's all in service to my community. It's with different, like I said, different income streams. So courses, we're world class at creating courses. We're excellent at being able to do that. So that's what we get to talk about today. And then also like coaching, consulting, affiliate marketing. If people want to talk about network marketing, we can go there. There's many different things that you can do, but we've created a business that we make about 7 figures a month. So we teach people the blueprint of how to be able to move into that direction. Okay. So now let's talk about courses, and let's talk about how we can weave in our life into our actual course, which is what's going to make it explode into success. All right. So the way that we do this, you guys, is we look at our life as though it's like a timeline, because it is, right? So what I would do is I would grab some paper, grab a notebook, something like that, make a line. And then what I would do is I would start thinking, and it should be, indicative of the beginning of your life to where you are right now. And I would start putting little hash marks on the line of different things that represent different times in your life that you got through something. Okay, so this is going to take a little bit, maybe 30 minutes to an hour. So I would set aside the time to actually be able to do it. Turn off all of the notifiers, all of the things that are going to beep, bling, and whatever, make noise at you that are going to distract you, quite frankly. And what you're going to do is just think of like the different, and I call them fires, that you've been through in your life, things that you got through. Okay. Now, what this actually is going to show you is it's going to illuminate to you stuff that you've been through. You can then look at the course that you've created and then see how one of those fires in your life coincides with that course. Because typically, I actually teach people in a flipped way to do this. How to think of those fires in your life, and then look at one of those fires. Think of the one that marinates the most with you, the one that kind of like, if you were to be able to help other people get out of that same fire, it would like make you bubble up inside. It would make you, it like makes you feel better than anything else. So I myself have a lot of fires that I went through in my life. We all do. And so I have, alcoholism. I had a really bad alcohol problem. I had domestic violence in my previous marriage. I have divorce. I worked in corporate America and I didn't want to, right? And then I got a video of my daughter taking her first steps. So that was another fire, and it doesn't feel as fiery, but when you're sitting in your chair in corporate America and you get a picture or get a video of your baby taking her first steps and they're not to you, but they're to a phone instead, I'm telling you, it feels fiery. Okay, so it may not sound fiery, but if you've sat in that chair, you know that fire. And so what I do is I focus on the woman, the mom sitting in the chair at corporate America, and I serve her. So what I want you to think about is the line, your hash marks. What fire that you went through do you want to help other people through? Okay, like where is that? Which fire is that? Now, if you've already decided what your course is going to be or what your offer is going to be, then that's great. That's fine. But try to bring it in, try to anchor it in with something that you've been through in your life. And it likely is going to, because psychologically, you're not really going to want to create a program that doesn't help an earlier version of yourself. That's just a thing. Like, that's just true. Most people just don't realize it. Okay. So what you're thinking at this point is you're thinking of an offering that that you may have already created. And then you're thinking how it anchors in with something that you've been through in your life. And now here's how we create the offer that's going to be just explosive. Is you're going to go all the way back to that time in your life and you're going to imagine what life was like, right? And this is, I talk about like going to the couch. And so what you're going to do in this instance is you're going to get quiet. You're going to write this out. You're going to think, okay, where were you in life? Like who were you as an avatar kind of, in life? So how old were you? Did you have kids? Did you not have kids? What were you afraid of? What was the thing that made you think, like, if only I knew how to this, then everything would be so much better. If only I knew this, everything would be so much better. That is a gold nugget right there. Another thing to do is to think of, and a friend of mine does this, and it's a telephone activity. And what you do is you think, and you probably weren't actually on the phone with people like this, but it's easier for you to think of yourself doing it than somebody else. So at that time in your life, if you were on the phone with like a best friend or a brother or sister or something like that, somebody that you're really close to, that your guard is down with, if you were on the phone with them and you were complaining about what was going on in your life, you need to think of what language you were using. Make sure that we pull out from any sort of like jargon. Everybody has like industry jargon. Even coaches have industry jargon. Mindset is actually industry jargon. The word mindset, people don't use it. People will say like, I'm annoyed by this person and da 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 da. Industry people will be like, that's your mindset issue. A person isn't going to say, I have a mindset issue. A normal person is going to say, that person annoys the snot out of me, right? So what we're doing is we're getting into the language of the problem. Okay, so what are you offering people? And then think of you when you needed that offering and what you would have been complaining about. How would it have sounded? What were you complaining about? So an example would be, if I were in corporate America, then a conversation I would have on the phone with somebody is like, listen, I'm getting these paychecks and that's all fine and good, but I've got a ceiling. Like I can never make more than I can make. Like I'm at the most that I can possibly make. And I don't see my life like this. I see something more for me. And also I want to be home with my daughter. I want to be able to spend time with her. There are days where I see her and she looks years older. And I know that I've seen her within the last 2 years, right? But all of a sudden, like she just looks so much older and it's scaring me. It's scaring me because I think I'm missing it, right? And that's the kind of conversations that, man, I got myself crying here. That's the kind of conversations that illuminate the problem so that when you bring in your offer, you can talk about the problem in the language your people are talking about the problem. And you might be like, hey, Martha, listen, or if you don't remember my name, hey, lady, listen, I don't know that that's actually going to be helpful for me. I don't know that, what I'm saying, what I imagine myself to have said in the past is really going to be what my people are saying. And here's what I'm going to tell you right now. That's wrong. What we do is we call in ourselves. If you didn't know that, now you know. Okay? If you didn't know, now you know. We call in ourselves. We call in different variations of ourselves through our life, okay? And if you're very intentional about who you call in, you can call in precisely the person who is going to respond to that message, okay? And whenever they see you put out that message, it's going to hit them square between the eyes, square in the heart. And they're going to be like, that person gets me. Like that person gets me on a human level. That person isn't just doing money grab stuff. That person gets me. They're here to help me. If you didn't know this yet, all anyone is looking for, and somebody prove me wrong, all anybody is looking for is a trusted resource to take their hand and guide them to where they want to go. That's all anyone is looking for. But what we have to do first is we have to gain that trust, right? And we should have the trust because we are helping people and because we do live from our hearts, right? But we don't just gain the trust on accident. We gain the trust through communication. And to be able to gain trust through that communication, we have to speak to precisely what they need. And then let them know, I've been there. I'm here on the other side, and I'm ready to help take you through. That's really what it's about, you guys. So it's as simple as that. It feels a little bit weird how to create your offer from the failures, but I feel like you understand at this point, that's what it's all about. We go back to the fires and the failures that we've been through in our life. We grab one of them, we anchor in, and we grab the language from that to be able to really propel our offer forward. So short and sweet, but that's what I got.
Awesome. Awesome. That was perfect. Perfect. I really resonated with the and that's the new one for me. The question, if I only knew this, that's killer. That's killer. And that's a great question to ask.
Yeah.
About things in your past that could really hone in on the question that some of my acts. So that was perfect. In the jargon. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Jargon is huge. But for me, if I only knew this one thing, whenever I started my business, my actual digital marketing agency, and this was 2016 is when that was, but I was looking online and I saw the Ty Lopez, I think he was out in front of his, somebody's Ferrari, and there's, all of these people. And I remember just sitting at my broke down desk and thinking, why can't there be somebody who just that I can trust and that is honest and is going to say, hey, this may not be easy, but here are the steps. Do these things consistently and you will have success. That's all I needed. And so that allowed me to create an offer that does that for people. So that's really how you create an entire empire. In that one sentence is how you create an entire empire.
That's great. That's great stuff. And the jargon is crazy. Somebody gave me some jargon yesterday and I had to eventually block him, Martha. I'm just like, and it was from a person that I know. So it was just like, I was trying to be like, okay, I was like, not now. And he just kept on persisting. It was just awful. So I want people to really market, like I said, that this market and just be real. No one like you're talking to somebody in front of you right across the table. Yeah. And we get too automated and so forth, and then it doesn't work. This doesn't work. So
it's pushy, it's disconnected, it's everything that's and then those individuals, the unfortunate thing is I think those individuals they're working a system and they think, well, it's a numbers game and I'll get some people, and maybe they do, but those people probably aren't loyal. But hopefully somebody can get through to them to make them realize they don't have to be that way.
Yeah. The one thing that pushed me over the edge was he was like, well, it looks like you're trading time for dollars. Just without even knowing my situation. It was like, no, I really don't have time because I'm actually doing this challenge right now. So it's just I didn't say that, but just I don't have time for you right now. I'm actually in the middle of doing something that's important for me and the people that I want to serve. But anyway, so
the ever elusive, you're trading time for dollars. Right. Oh okay, Joe Schmo.
Right.
What book did you read that out of?
Right. So anyway, I got a question. We got a question for you.
Yeah.
And I think this kind of stems off of that thing and I emailed you yesterday. I was like, what about our successes of our past? Something like that. But you're like, no, the failures of the past. I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm thinking so here's the question here. What if you still feel like you haven't overcome your failures?
Oh, that's good. Okay. Right? Well, you could definitely feel like you haven't overcome your failures, but you need to look in the micro at that point, because there are things that you have overcome within it. So a lot of times we look at success as this big, grandiose benchmark instead of breaking it down into, I won this, I won this, I won this. Maybe a win is I got a response on an email. right? Or maybe a win is I got a comment on a social media post. Those are little wins. And if you actually count them as the wins that they are, you're going to get dopamine hits, which then make it even better and more, it like gamifies your body to want more of that, right?
Yeah.
And so, but we're also breaking down the micro wins so you know that you're finding success. So maybe you haven't made $10 million, but that's a big benchmark and it's going to take a while to get that success hit if you're even going to be allowed to get to that point without having these mini wins. You have to recognize the mini wins. And also where you sit right now, even setting your goal in the future, that's great. But also even where you sit right now, look back, because you ain't who you were a year ago, right? Like that's, you've got growth behind you, even to be at the point that you're setting goals. Because a person that isn't within growth isn't going to even be setting goals. So you've done a lot even just to get to that point, right? To even think like, to even get to the point of thinking that you're not a success, even for your mind to be there, you have to have gone through something. You have to have come out the other side of something. So maybe the thing that you're wanting to create an offer around, maybe you need to look back, like I said, at your timeline and look at the stuff that you've been through, show other people how to get through that stuff. And then you can grow your personal brand and you can add these other things to it as you feel worthy, right? But you've got things that you've gone through in your life. Everybody does. And so, so look at those things on your timeline. And if you need to reposition your offer, then do so. There's nothing wrong with that. A pivot isn't wrong. A pivot is growth.
Awesome. And I have one more last question here. And I'm not sure you want to spend some time on this or whatever, but, or if you want to give us some juicy nuggets on this. It says, what do you start, or how do you start to package an offer based off of your failures? What is the best way to do it or to start it, I guess?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm going to go back to that line because that's kind of the model in this whole talk here. But you go back to the line, you look at the things that you've been through, you grab one of those pieces, and then you think, okay, I got through this little thing in my life, and it might be a really big thing, right? I have students that, you know, their kid had allergies. They couldn't figure out what the heck was going on with their kid. And then they finally figured it out. And then they were able to eradicate the things that were causing the allergy in their home and So even in something like that, you can create an offer around how to do that. And you're speaking directly to yourself earlier in your life. Like it's simple, easy peasy simple to be able to look at what you've gone through. And then what you do at that point is you say, okay, well, here's where I was at the beginning of this problem. Here's where I was at the end of it. And then how did I get through the problem? And then micro out how you got through the problem. So I started with this, and then I did this, and then I did this, and then I did this. And what you're doing, because a lot of people are like, well, why can I make money on that? People can just Google it. People don't want to Google it. Okay. They don't want to. Again, going back to everybody just wants a trusted resource because you can't trust the Googles, right? And when you do learn something on the Googles, you don't know that thing isn't right until 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 months later when you realize it never panned out the way that you thought that it was going to. So there's a lot of reasons why people don't want to Google things. Also, it takes up a lot of time. So what you're doing is you're condensing time for the solution for these people. So imagine you've got, and we'll just go back to the story of the mom with the kid with allergies. Do you want to wait 6 months as you're trying, failing? Hopefully you can keep going and want to keep trying after all of that failure. Or do you want to, within 12 weeks, have a beginning to end solution and then boop, easy button. That's the thing, is we're pressing the easy button on other people's problems in their life that we had ourselves.
Wait, that's great. Okay, I got one last question when I let you go. Get out of here. And maybe it's because of what I said earlier before when we talked about me in this book, where I was like, I told you just now, like I told a couple of people about this before, that this was really, the skeleton of this book was done in 2013. It is now, it's now 2021 as of this particular thing, this challenge right now. And you can have, and I tell people, like, there's a two trains of thought where people will say like, don't do your offer. Wait till you find people to their problems and ask them first and all those kind of things. Like I was like, okay, that's one train of thought. I understand that. Yep. That's perfect if you have that. Or it's the other way where you have to find, like you said before, something from your past or something that you already know, and have some, at least have a skeleton, a skeleton of, this is what I offer, this is what I have, I know this subject, those kind of things.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you have this offer, but you still don't believe it. How do you believe that this is going to be effective? Little old me, who's going to listen to me? Those kind of things. How do you work through that?
Yeah. Well, I pray a lot. So that's my thing. I have a very strong relationship with my creator. And so there's a lot of, if I'm ever feeling insignificant, which I think is that term. Yeah. If I'm ever feeling that way, I ask for my significance to be illuminated. Like, and what I do is I also look at what I went through. So whatever the book or the program, whatever you're creating, whatever the offer is around, look at what you went through and literally imagine other people in that same situation looking around frantically waiting for someone to step up with a solution because they're still stuck there. And so that gives me enough gas, and the fire to be able to keep going regardless of any insignificance I feel about myself. Because if I know that what my stuff did, like if I know my stuff works, then I will make sure I get through to that person because they're still stuck. So really it's a simple mind shift from I'm making this thing so I can get dollars to I'm making this thing so I can create impact. So these people are no longer stuck. And I think that whenever we get stuck in our insignificance, I think that it's because we're thinking a little too much, not in a bad way, but we accidentally focused on dollars and we're like, I don't deserve that. There's a worthiness, there's all sorts of stuff that comes in there. Whereas if we think instead about the impact of the people that we're serving, there is nothing on this planet that will stop us from being able to help those people.
Great stuff. We can go on and on, but I'm gonna let you go. There's so much to that. So why don't you tell people, I don't know where you want to direct people, whether it's your latest stuff. You have so much going on, girl. Trust me, you have so much going on. So
I do. So you can follow me anywhere on social media at The Real Martha Krejci. You'll be able to find me anywhere on any platform that way. My website is withmartha.com. I have a group that I nurture the heck out of. So I have a lot of free trainings and stuff like that. I'm doing a challenge right now in there actually right now too, but it's Heart-Centered and Crushing Business. And that's on Facebook. So you're welcome to go there as well. And just kind of dip a toe in the pool. see what you like. If you like it, stay. If you don't, that's totally okay. You're not going to hurt my feelings. I'm here for you. If you want me to be here for you. And if you want to go somewhere else, it's totally cool. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of good teachers out there. So
I totally vouch for the Facebook group. I am in there. And it's really been a life changer for me already. So definitely she takes care of her people. That's all I can say. She does. She over delivers on a large scale, and it's always from the heart. So
that's a compliment. Thank you.
Yeah. So with that said, I am going to say goodbye for right now. And we're gonna get to our second session today with Shay Brown. And he's gonna be talking about how to build a 7-figure sales team without spending one dime. Boom. So if you're having trouble, this is the what now phase, Martha, where you got this offer, now what? How do you sell it? How do you sell it? So I'm tagging different people on how to do this thing, how to sell it, how to make sure you get it right, pricing, all those kind of things. And this is another way people are putting together a package offer where it's not all about you, because you're not going to know everything. It's impossible to know everything. Right. So get people in there that can, do what you can't. And this is another great way to do it. And I am so honored to have Martha, who said yes to get on this one for me. So I am done. We'll see you on the next one. Take care. and be blessed.